Hello everyone, welcome to Developers Checkpoint, and in today's video we are going to learn about the caching. We will learn what is caching and why it is useful. We will explore cache hit ratio. We will see different types of cache and how can we scale our cache. So without any further ado, let's dive into the video. So what is cache? A cache is a high-speed data storage layer which stores the subset of the data so that the future request for the data can be served in a much faster way. So let's take a scenario where a client is trying to connect to the remote server and fetching the data from it. Now if we introduce cache in between, the client will get the data from the cache. As cache is very fast, the request of the client can be served in a much faster way. So now let's see that how does the cache work and why cache is so fast. So the data stored in a cache is generally stored on a fast access hardware. So in the scenario where the client was connecting to the remote server, it was slow because the data was stored on the disk, and in the scenario where the client was getting the data from the cache, it was fast because the data is stored in the memory. As we know that reading from the memory is much faster as compared to the reading from the disk, the read operations from the cache are much faster as compared to the read operations that are done from the disk. Now let's explore what is cache hit ratio. A cache hit ratio is a very important metric to measure the performance of our caching system. It means how many times we were able to use the cached response. So let's take a scenario where we have a cache and origin server. Now one of the client came and it got response from the cache. Now another client came and it also got the response from the cache. Now let us assume that there is a third client and it was not able to get the response from the cache and it got the response from the origin server. So in this scenario we can see that 2 out of 3 requests are served from the cache. So the cache hit ratio is 2/3, that is 66%. A cache hit ratio is an important metric to check the performance of our caching system. So the factors which are impacting the cache hit ratio is how much data we want to store on the cache and for how long do we want to store the data into the cache. So let's try to explore them one by one. So firstly, how much data do we want to store in the cache? So when we store any data on the cache, the data is stored in the memory. And as we know that memory is a very costly resource. And if we keep on storing the data in the memory, we will end up exhausting the memory. At that time, we have to free up memory by removing the data from the memory, and this can be done using a cache eviction policy. We can use first in first out eviction policy, last in first out eviction policy, least recently used eviction policy, and there are a lot of cache eviction policies to choose from. Now, how long do we want to store the data? The cache hit ratio is impacted by a factor known as TTL. TTL stands for the time to live. This means how long data can be stored in the memory. So suppose the TTL of a resource is 1 hour. So in that scenario, the cached response will be removed from the memory after 1 hour. So there can be 2 scenarios. If the TTL is too high. So if the TTL of the resource is too high, we will end up saving a lot of data into the memory and eventually exhausting the memory. And if the memory is exhausted, then we have to free up memory using the cache eviction policy. The data which is removed from the memory has to be fetched from the origin server and impacting our cache hit ratio. Now let's take another example where the TTL is too low. So if the TTL is too low, the cached response will be removed from the memory very early. If the TTL is too low, the cached response will be removed from the memory in a very less time, and we will not end up serving a lot of requests from the cached response, and this will also end up impacting our cache hit ratio. Now let's explore the types of caching that are available to us. So there are 2 types of caching that are available to us based on their type of data that is stored. One is the HTTP based caching and the other is object based caching. Now let's explore the HTTP based caching. Now let's take a typical client server application where the client is making a request. The request is going to the set of routers, or we can say the network, and finally the request reaches to the server where we have the reverse proxy and a web application. So the web application will respond to the network and the network will provide a result to the client in the form of HTML, JS or CSS. Here we can see three opportunities to utilize the caching. First is using the cache at the client side. Second is using cache at the network layer, and third is the using cache at the server side. So let's explore caching at the client side. So the caching at the client side, we store the data on the local storage or the browser cache of the client. So if the client is requesting for these resources and the resources are available in the local storage or the browser cache, the following resources will be served from the local storage of the client instead of fetching those resources from the remote server. After that, what's the caching at the network layer? So we can make use of the network layer to serve the cached response. So generally different clients connect to the remote server from different location. We can make use of something called CDN, which stands for Content Delivery Network, which stores data among the network hops which are closer to the client and delivers to the client in a much faster way without reaching to the origin. So let's say the client is connecting to the network via this node. So the cache response will be served from this node. The copy of the resource will be stored at this node. Now if another client comes and it's tried to connect via another node, the copy of the resource will be served at another node, and in this way we can serve the client in a much faster way without reaching to the origin server. Now let's come to the next part, which is the server side caching. So on the server side we have a reverse proxy which fetches the data from the web server, and web server responds with static resources like HTML, JS and CSS. These resources can be cached as the reverse proxy level, and the reverse proxy will be able to serve the response from the memory instead of fetching the data from the disk of the web server. Reverse proxies like Nginx and Apache provide the functionality of caching at the reverse proxy level. Now let's explore what is object-based caching. Such caching is generally used to store the computed data in a key value pair. So let's assume that we have an application server that is getting the data from the database or any downstream services and performing a lot of computation on top of that to come up with a computed object. We can store that processed data on the application layer in a key value form, so that instead of recalculating the data again and again, we can directly fetch the data from the cache and respond to our request in a much faster way. We can also make use of the client side storage to store the processed data. So in this scenario, the client will store the processed data at its end and will not need to fetch the data from the application server, and making our application much faster. Now let's have a look at how can we scale our caching system. So we have first client side caching. We cannot scale such a type of cache because we do not have control on the memory available to the client. So the client side caching cannot be scaled. The other thing is the CDN or Content Delivery Network. CDN used to store data across the distributed nodes, and generally we do not came across scaling issues with the CDN. Now the third point is the server side caching. In case of server side caching, we have the control that how do we want to scale our cache. So we have few options. We can use the replication. So if this is our application server, we can try to replicate the data across multiple servers and use these servers in order to serve our clients. So this is known as a replication. The same copy of the data will be stored across different nodes on the cluster, and those nodes can be used to serve the client. We can also use partitioning in order to control how the data is to be distributed across the various nodes of the cluster. So we have some subset of data that is stored on one node, other subset of data that is to be stored on the other node, and the other subset of data that is stored on the other node. So in this way, we can control how the data is to be stored across the nodes and how many copies of the data is to be stored. So that is the way how can we scale the caching at the server level. So guys, that's for the video. Please like, share and subscribe the channel if you like the content in order to support the channel. Thank you and see you guys in the next video.